What's up gamers, DreamcastGuy here, talking today about Overwatch on Nintendo Switch specifically, because this came out technically today, and it seems like pretty much nobody is talking about it. Not Blizzard, not Nintendo, pretty much nobody is even acknowledging that this game exists. Now let me just kind of address the big thing, which is why this video sounds and looks a little bit different. My power is randomly off, and I can't figure out why. And to be honest, I'm very, very mad about it. Currently, I've actually been sitting in the dark for 4 hours. So since I'm stuck here, I'm going to be recording this video with I'm using my cell phone, using the spotlight of that bouncing off a receipt so this doesn't look too creepy. I'm using the microphone plugged into my laptop and of course the battery of the camera. So I'm sorry if things aren't super high tech, but I'm going crazy and I want to talk about video games. So here's the thing, a lot of us kind of had suspicions that Overwatch should have come out much sooner. Even if you don't actually like the game or you've never really been too hardcore into it, it's pretty obvious that it was something that was very overwhelmingly popular when it initially came out. That's part of the reason that it sort of spawned all the esports and big gaming personalities. But what's been kind of fascinating is Overwatch is declining. Less people are playing it, less people are talking about it, but more than that, it seems like, well, Blizzard is more desperate to try and monetize it. Now, the main thing that actually makes money with Overwatch isn't actually the upfront $60 sales, it's all the microtransactions. They sell hundreds and hundreds of different skins, a lot of them being very short time windows of like, hey, for Chinese New Year, you can get this cool outfit to make your character look even more like a samurai. So when it was coming to Switch, I was curious to see what its reception would be like because A, it's an always online game, which there isn't too many of those on the Switch yet other than like DC Universe and Warframe, but I'm curious to see, more than that, how successful it would be. How many times gamers would actually be willing to pick up and purchase a bunch of loot crates over and over again to make it an actual lucrative venture. Well, obviously, the big thing that's been happening this month is again and again, we're actually seeing them step in the doo-doo. It seems like Blizzard, pretty much every 3 days, is releasing some new awful statement involving the whole giant mess with Hong Kong. They censored one of their players, they took away his $10,000 prize money, but now they're giving it back, but they're still banning him. People are upset. So releasing a game in the height of the Boycott Blizzard fervor, I knew that it wouldn't go great, but it's very interesting to me, and I think extremely telling, that pretty much nobody is even mentioning it. Now, the key thing here is, right now, it's still technically, what's the date today? The 15th. It is October 15th, and today we had the release of The Witcher 3, which was super good. I did a big video about that. But I was actually going to possibly maybe install Overwatch if more people were talking about it, but nobody is. No messages, no press releases, no nothing. It seems like everybody has decided to pick up and forget about it. Now this to me is exceptionally unique. It seems like everybody right now is very much still on the bandwagon that the Nintendo Switch is a money train. That if you get a game and it's good and you put it on the Switch, that's a dedicated market. I mean, we've definitely seen a lot of indie games and stuff actually bragging about the fact that there is this huge untapped market. A lot of people actually have really been commenting about the fact that the Nintendo Switch currently has the highest attach rate. That's basically the mathematical number versus how many consoles you've sold versus how many games you're selling. And it seems like most Switch owners are actually buying 5, 6, or 10 games a year. So getting them to actually pick up your port is seemingly easy, right? Especially if it's a game as big and crazy as Overwatch. Except it isn't. Now why is this? Why is it that this game is managing to flop so big? Why is it that even Nintendo is actually pretending it doesn't exist? Now here's the thing. Maybe you're saying, DreamcastGuy, you're just talking about this because you're bored. It's not really that big of a deal. Here's the thing. I actually believe that this is a very, very big deal. I do believe that this is actually a signpost in the ground. It's basically, well, Nintendo's saying that there's some games they'll support and some games they'll just allow. Now, what I'm getting at is there was supposed to be a giant launch party for this game. It was actually going to be held at at Nintendo New York, the big giant like superstore that does all the special events. Now, a lot of people actually sort of treat this as the mecca of Nintendo. This may just be a shop, but in actuality, it's one of the most public-facing areas of Nintendo. It's one of the places where people go to get games at midnight and go to the giant official releases. And a lot of times people like Reggie Fils-Aimé actually went there all the time. It's where they did like the official like first console ever sold for the Nintendo Switch. Them officially canceling an event for a game that was supposed to be a big deal feels to me like a public statement. Them saying, we don't want Overwatch. That is absolutely crazy town, and I gotta admit, it does make me a little bit happy. I've been reading into it, and it seems like, well, I think that Blizzard was definitely trying to hype this up. Going into it, you can see all these big press releases and notes and stuff trying to constantly talk about how this was going to be the multiplayer experience in your hands. It was going to be the revolutionary team-based thing that's never existed on the Switch, kind of ignoring the fact that Splatoon exists and is fantastique. But what does this actually mean? I think it shows that Nintendo gamers are actually getting smarter. Nintendo consumers are definitely people that are extremely plugged in. I mean, it seems like not only is the average Nintendo gamer buying a lot of stuff, but they're incredibly informed about their products. They know everything about what it's going to do, what it's going to look like. They watch reviews, they buy the best stuff. And so that's why bad games are actually bombing. Does that mean that this was a bad port? No. Instead, I think that this is a pretty clear point that Nintendo consumers have actually performed what may be their forced boycott. I've honestly never seen this before. I've been following everything Nintendo related since like the Super Nintendo era. I actually have a bunch of old gaming magazines even. I dig them out, but I'm in literally the darkness. And here's the thing, Nintendo gamers are kind of just used to being given products. I mean, stuff by Nintendo sells the best. Third-party stuff sells decent. But now, it's kind of interesting to see a bunch of Nintendo gamers actually come together and officially not purchase something. Actually basically telling a company, we don't like your kind here. Right before my power went out, I was actually talking to a friend of mine on Twitter, and he was actually DMing me about Blizzard, and he was saying, isn't it kind of crazy that this is still going on? That people realize now that this is a company that kind of hates freedom. I mean, it's pretty weird to think about, but it's very interesting to watch consumers be so educated about their products, to see people actually understanding the actual financial implications of their purchase. And I'm super proud of Nintendo dudes and dudettes really stepping up and doing what I consider the very right thing. There is definitely going to be ripples in the pond. I definitely think that something I've definitely heard some game developers sort of mumbling about is a lot of them are getting more and more afraid of social media and bad press and kind of accidentally letting the message get away from them. I mean, everybody's trying to advertise their game. Let's be clear, these companies are here to sell a product. They want you to buy the stuff and the season pass and the loot crates. That's what all this stuff exists for. And I think that they try and sell you this stuff with the most clear message possible. Here's the game, buy it, love it, enjoy it. But it all gets muddled up now with the extrinsies, all the little gooey extra mess of bad stage presentations at E3, or one of your developers turns out to be a total piece of crap. And so it's interesting to me to see a bunch of people sort of universally agreeing that Blizzard screwed up, and now it's actually making them pay the price. As I record this video, I was looking at their stock prices. Blizzard is losing hundreds of millions of dollars. And last year, they lost something like $1 billion in stock price back when everything was going bad with Diablo Immortal. So it's very, very kind of interesting to see what's going to happen at BlizzCon. Is this going to be the world's biggest dumpster fire? Will there be anybody at the entire convention that actually has a Nintendo Switch? I guess we're all going to find out, and I'm definitely going to be there on the ground trying to film the action, because I'm going to BlizzCon, and I'm kind of just sitting here going, I don't know what to expect. Okay, I guess I'm going to try and edit this video. I'm not sure when I'm going to be able to post it, because honestly, I'm still stuck in the dark. I may not even be able to post this, actually, if the audio's bad, but thank you guys for watching. I just wanted to film something because I'm stuck in the dark and bored. I love you very much. Thank you for entertaining me. You are all awesome. Subscribe to this video or go watch some of my content that's not filmed in the dark. Give this video a like, share with your friends, and subscribe if you haven't already. But do me the biggest favor of all and keep dreaming. Just by the way, there might not be a top 10 Thursday this week. I was supposed to be writing that all night tonight, and obviously nothing works. Like, even if I pull these switches, like, I'm fucked. I'm absolutely fucked. So let me, oh sorry, excuse my cursing. I gotta figure this out. Thanks so much for watching that video. If you want to see something else, you can always click this link to see what I put up last, or, you know, subscribe and see what's coming up next. Also, I promise that whatever I do, it'll try not to suck.